Hello friends, this is Hatim Ramparwala, and in this video we'll continue with our revision of PE. So we'll start with question number 36. Question number 36, discuss the following. Okay, Mrs. XYZ, a firm of a chartered accountant in practice, develop a website xyz.com. A color chosen from the website was a very bright green color, and the website was also run on the push technology. So green color is not a problem, but push technology is an issue. That is it is not permitted issue, in the sense it is not permitted in the guidelines. It should be pull method, not push. Then where the name of a partner of any firm and the major clients name of the partner is okay, but the major clients were displayed, so displaying of the client's name is also not is also prohibited basically on the website without any disclosure obligation from any other regulator. Okay, so he is guilty basically. Hosting details on the website as per the guidelines of the ICI laid down in clause 6 part 1 first schedule to chartered accountant act. A chartered accountant of any firm can create its own website using any format subjected to the guidelines. However the website should be designed that it does not solicit the work of the professional. It does not solicitate the work solicited the client of the professional work, and should not amount directly or indirectly advertisement as per guidelines. There is no restriction on the use of the color. However, the website is required to run no requirement of the color, but website should be run on the pull technology and not on the push technology. The name of the client and the fees charged from the firm charged from them is not permitted to appear on the website. So name of the client should also not appear, and fees charged should also not appear. Disclosure of the names of the client and the fees charged on the website is permissible only where it is required by the regulatory. So name of the client and the fee should be what we can say displayed on the website if it is required by the regulator, where whether or not constituted by the statute in India or outside India, provided that such a disclosure is not is only to the extent of requirement of the regulator. Then in the present case, Mr. X as a form of chartered accountant in practice develop a website xyz.com. The color chosen for the website has been a very bright green color, and the website has also run on the push technology where the name of the partner of any firm and the major clients were displayed on the website without any disclosure obligation from obligation from any regulator. Conclusion: the would firm would be liable for the professional misconduct due to the running website on the push technology and displaying the name of the client on the website without any requirement of the regulator. So basically he is, see what they are given is, the firm would be liable to professional misconduct due to the running of any push technology and displaying the name of the clients on the website without the requirement of any regulator. Then question number 37, an advertisement was published in the newspaper containing the photograph of Mr. X, a member of the institute, wherein he was congratulated on the occasion of his opening ceremony of his office. So newspaper contain basically this photograph of the opening ceremony of his office, soliciting of any work or the professional work as per clause 6 part 1 first schedule to chartered accountant act. C and practice is deemed guilty of his professional misconduct. Okay, the same point. Then in the given case, Mr. X published an advertisement in the newspaper containing any photograph of the occasion of opening ceremony. Kind of an advertisement will amount to the soliciting of any work from by advertisement directly and indirectly. Mr. X would be guilty because why he is guilty, because he is displaying the photograph of his opening ceremony, so that the people would come to know that he is practicing, and likewise soliciting the work so Mr. X would be guilty under clause 6 part 1 first schedule to chartered accountant act 1949. Clause 6 part 1 first schedule to chartered accountant act 1949. Then move on to the next question, that is, give a comment with reference. Mr. X, a chartered accountant and the proprietor of XYZ and company, wrote several letters to the assistant registrar of the cooperative society, stating that though his firm was on the panel of the auditor, no audit work was allotted to the firm, and further requested him to look further requested to look into him to look into the matter. Okay, so he was what he was doing basically is cooperative wrote several he is writing several letters to the cooperative society assistant to the assistant register of the cooperative society stating his name of the firm to be entered in the panel of the auditors, so it will amount to professional misconduct. Soliciting of any professional work as per clause 6 part 1 first schedule to chartered accountant and chartered accountant party shall be deemed to guilty of the professional misconduct if he solicited any client or the professional work either directly or indirectly by the circular advertisement, personal communication or the interview or by any other mean. In the given case, Mr. X, a chartered accountant and the proprietor of Mr. X and company wrote several letters to the assistant register of the cooperative society requesting for the allotting the name, the writing of any continuous letter to certain continuous letter to the is not getting the work is quite all right, but request for allowing the work does not appears to be correct. So writing the letter is not getting to ascertain the reasons for not getting the work is quite all right, but the request for allowing the request allowing the work does not appears to be correct. Mr. X is deemed to be guilty of the professional misconduct under clause 6 part 1 first schedule to chartered accountant in 1949. Wait a second. Okay. So question number 39. PQR and Associates Chartered Accountant has a website on the letterhead, and on the letterhead of the firm it is mentioned that visit our website. It is written www.pqr in the website. The nature of the assignment handled, names of the prominent client and the fees charged is also displayed without any disclosure obligation by any of the regulators. So this year also he is guilty basically. That is website particulars. The council of the ICAI has issued the guidelines for posting the particular on the website by the CA in practice and the firm of a chartered accountant in practice under clause 6 part 1 first schedule to chartered accountant in 1949. Accordingly the guidelines of the accordingly the guidelines, the details in the website should be so designed that it does not amount to soliciting of any work and professional work. It is permitted to mention the website address on the letterhead, but soliciting the people to visit the website is not permitted basically. So it is permitted to mention the website address on the letterhead, but soliciting the work to the professional to visit is not permitted. Then not permitted. And PQR and Associates letterhead invited to invites people to visit about website. Similarly, the website mentioned the nature of the assignment and the name of the prominent clients and the fees charged. The name of the assignment is permitted for display only on the specific pull request, and the name of the client, the fees charged is not permitted at all. So disclosure of the names of the client and the fees charged on the website is permissible only where it is required by the regulator or where constituted under the statute in India or outside India. So the name is permitted. Name of the clients to be can only be included in the website if it has been required by the regulator. Whether the statute constituted under the statute in India or outside India, provided that such a disclosure is only to the extent of the requirement of the regulator, then over here. But basically, PQR Limited and Associate will be held guilty of the professional misconduct under clause 6 part 1 first schedule. First schedule of the Chartered Accountant Act 1949. Then give a reference to the he is guilty basically. Question number 40. Give your comment. Mr. Sodhi, a chartered accountant in practice Sodhi, a chartered accountant in practice who is proposed to remove as an auditor, removed as the auditor of the company, makes this unsubstantiated and derogatory remark against the management of the company in his representation under 140 of the Companies Act 2013, a use of the right to representation under 100 under section 140 as per clause 6. Basically he is guilty as per clause 6 part 1 first schedule to Chartered Accountant Act. Chartered C in practice is deemed to be guilty of the professional misconduct if he solicited the client or the professional work. So if he solicited the client or the professional work directly or indirectly by the circular advertisement or the personal communications, circular advertisement or the personal communication, or by any other mean, by using the substantiated and the derogatory remark against the management of the company in his representation under section 140 of the Companies Act, tantamount to the securing of any professional work by undignified means. The council of the institute has clarified that the right to make the representation under 140 of the Companies Act does not means that the auditor has prescribed right on the lien to any of the other audit. Basically, the council of the institute has clarified that the right to make the representation under 140 of the Companies Act does not means an auditor has a prospective right to on lien on to any of the audit wordings of his representation should be such that a part of the opportunity not being abused to secure the needless publicity does not tantamount directly or indirectly canvassing or soliciting any for his continuance as an auditor. The letter should be merely set in the dignified manner how he has been acting independently and consistentiously through the terms of the office. In addition, indicate it if he so chooses his willingness to continue as an auditor if reappointed by the auditor. So he can write that he is willing to appoint it if he has been reappointed by the shareholder. Conclusion: in the present case, Mr. Sodhi is guilty of the professional misconduct. Okay, over here he is guilty. Give your comment with reference to the Chartered Accountant Act 1949 schedule thereto. Schedules thereto. A letter is sent to the a letter sent to the Chartered Accountant in practice to the Ministry of Finance, inquiring whether a panel of the auditor is being maintained by the minister, and if so, to include his name in the panel. So he was basically sending letters to include his name in the panel. CV enclosed and or second question, CA firm Mr. GST and Associates. Mr. GST and Associates has sent a letter to the Goods and GST Council stating that the firm has two partners who specialize in the law of the goods and service tax, and asked the said council to include their name in the panel whenever formed for providing the advisory to the chartered accountant in 1949. So over here he is making the revoking inquiries. He is guilty basically as per clause 6 part 1 first schedule to Chartered Accountant Act. CN is deemed to be guilty of the professional misconduct if he solicited or solicited or the professional work either directly or indirectly by circular advertisement, personal communication or interviews, or by any other means such a restraint has been put so that the member maintain their independence of the judgment and may be able to command respect from their prospective client in the case of making an application to the empanelment for the allotment of any work and the professional work. The council has opted that where the existence of such a panel is within the knowledge of the member, he is free to write to the concerned organization of the request to place his name on the panel. However, it would not be proper for the member to make the revoking inquiries by applying to any of such an organization for having his name included in such a. So he cannot make a revoking inquiries to get his name included in such a panel. Conclusion: the member is guilty of the misconduct in terms of the above provision as he has solicited the professional work by making the revoking inquiries about the panel. Question number 42. Mr. M, a practicing chartered accountant, sent a letter to the another chartered accountant claiming himself to be a pioneer in liaising with the central government ministry and his allied department for getting various department government clearance, for which he has claimed to have expertise, and had given a list of his existing clients and details of his staff. He has claimed to have expertise and had given the list of his existing client and detail of his staff, etc. Soliciting of any work directly and indirectly. Clause 6 part 1. Basically over here he is guilty. Clause 6 part 1 first schedule to Chartered Accountant Act 1920 member shall be guilty if a member of a chartered accountant in practice solicited the work of solicited the client or the professional work either directly or indirectly by the circular advertisement, personal communication, or the interview, or by any other means as per the council guidelines for the advertisement of the for the member in practice. A member is not permitted to claim any superiority under over any other member firm, or to include the name of the client in any of the write-up. In the present case, Mr. M, a practicing chartered accountant, sent a letter to the other firm of a chartered accountant claiming himself to be the pioneer in liaising with the central government ministry and its allied department for getting various department clearance, for which he had claimed to have the expertise, and has also given the list of his clients and details of his staff, which seems to be an indirect method to adventure their professional practice with a view to gain and publicity, and thereby solicited the client for the professional work. Conclusion: Mr. M was guilty. Mr. M was guilty of the professional misconduct as per clause 6 part 1 first schedule of a Chartered Accountant Act 1949. So basically over here Mr. M was guilty of the professional misconduct as per clause 6 part 1 first schedule. Then Mr. Honest, a chartered accountant in practice, wrote two letters to Mr. X, two letters to Mr. XY, chartered accountant in a firm of a CA practicing requesting them to allot him some professional work. So basically a chartered accountant wrote a letter to the chartered accountant only, as he did not have any of the significant practice or the client. He also wrote a letter to Mr. ABC, a firm of a chartered accountant, for securing. So basically a chartered accountant can secure the work from the another chartered accountant. It is not over here he would not be deemed to be guilty. For securing of any work. Then Mr. Clever, another chartered accountant, informed ICA regarding the honest approach to secure the professional work. Is Mr. Honest wrong in soliciting the work? No, of course he is not. Soliciting of any professional work from the another chartered accountant. Clause 6 part 1 first schedule to chartered accountant first schedule. A CA in practice shall be deemed to be guilty of the professional misconduct if he solicited the client or the professional work directly and indirectly by either directly or indirectly by the circular advertisement, personal communication, or interview, or by any other mean. However, nothing in clause 6 shall construct to prevent or prohibit any chartered accountant from applying or requesting for any of the requesting for or inviting of for securing the professional work from the another chartered accountant in practice. In the given case, Mr. Honest wrote a letter only to another chartered accountant. Mr. Honest, a CA, wrote a letter to the another chartered accountant, Mr. XYZ and ABC, requesting them to allot some professional work. There is another chartered accountant, that is Mr. and Mrs. XY and Mrs. ABC, requesting them to allot some professional work to him, which is not prohibited under clause 6. So basically it is not prohibited. Honest is not not wrong in soliciting the work from the other chartered accountant. Hence there is no misconduct basically. Then we are left with two questions in this part. During the opening ceremony of the new branch office of the CA Young, his friend CA Old introduced CA Young, his friend and a client, Mr. Rich, the owner of an export house, whose accounts has been audited by the CA Old for more than 15 years. After few days, Mr. Rich approached CA Young and offered the certification work which hereto had been done by CA Old. So he has offered to Young, which was earlier done by Old. CA Young undertook the work with a fee which was not less than the fees charged by CA Old in the earlier period. Comment whether CA Young had done any professional misconduct. He has done, because he should the client should come via the earlier chartered accountant, and not directly, and the what we can say, the new chartered accountant, basically, that is in this case Mr. That is CA Young, should not accept if it has not been authorized by CA Old. In soliciting of any work directly or indirectly as per clause 6 part 1 first schedule to chartered accountant act 1949, a member shall be deemed to guilty of the professional misconduct if he practice CA in practice solicits the clients of the professional work either directly or indirectly by the circular advertisement, personal communication, interview, or by any other mean, as per the council general, as per the council guidelines for the advertisement for the member in practice. uh, acceptance acceptance of the acceptance of the original professional work emanating from the client introduced by the another chartered accountant is not permitted. Basically, in the present case, during the opening ceremony of the new branch of CA Young, his friend Old introduced CA Young, his friend the client Mr. Rich, the owner of the export house, and has audited, which has been audited by CA Old for more than 15 years. After a few days, CA Rich approached CA Young and offered a certification work which year 2 has done by CA Old. CA Young undertook the work for a fee which, so CA Young also undertook the work. Basically, he had not he has not gone through whether he has came through CA Old or not, which was not less, which was for which he charged the fee which was not less than the fees charged by CA Old in the earlier period. Over here, the conclusion will be Mr. Young will be guilty of the professional misconduct under clause 6 part 1 first schedule. He will be guilty. Basically, actually it has already passed 20 minutes have already been passed. Okay, but then we are left with only one question. Comment with reference to the chartered accountant and a schedule that a special notice has been issued for resolution at third AGM, providing expressly that CA Anup shall not be reappointed as an auditor of the company. Consequently, CA Anup submitted a representation in writing to the company requesting the company with a request to circulate to other member in the detailed representation. Anup included the contribution made by him in strengthening the control procedure of the company during his association with the company, and also indicated his willingness to continue as an auditor if reappointed by the shareholder of the company. So over here, he has not stated anything which would against basically the guidelines, and basically over here C. Anup would not be guilty because he has not made any such a representation which will make him guilty. Representation clause 6 part 1 first schedule to chartered accountant act, a member shall be guilty if okay, the same point. Then section 140 subsection 4 of the companies permits an auditor to make the representation. So basically, this representation can be is made basically as per section 140 subsection 4, because that permits the auditor to make the representation not exceeding a reasonable length to the company. The proposition of the auditor to highlight the contribution made by the firm in strengthening the control procedure in the representation is not acceptable, because the representation letter should not be prepared in the manner so as to seek the publicity. So basically, over here, how he is seeking the publicity is by as they have given in question as well, that actually I had said earlier, because of that the second point, that and also indicated his willingness to continue. But this stating of his that his contribution which has strengthened the internal control, based on this he may be guilty, he will be guilty basically. So we'll read that is not acceptable because the representation should not be prepared in the manner so as to seek the publicity. The code of the ethics issued by the institute make it imply clear that the right to make the representation does not mean that the auditor has the prescribed right to or the lien on the audit. The wordings of the representation should be such that apart from the opportunity not being abused to secure the needless publicity, it does not amount to directly and indirectly canvassing or soliciting of his professional office for his continuance as an auditor. The letter should merely set out his dignified manner, how he has been acting independently and continue and conscientiously consistently through the terms of the office, and may in addition indicate, if he so chooses, his willingness to continue as the auditor if he reappointed by the shareholder. Mr. Anup will be guilty of the professional misconduct under clause 6 part 1 first schedule to Chartered Accountant Act 1949 and including the contribution made, because he has included his contribution made by him in strengthening the control procedure of the company amounts to soliciting of the work, because that amounted basically to the soliciting of any work which is not permitted. So We are done with 10 questions and it took 25 minutes to complete. We'll continue from 46th question in next video. Thank you for watching the video.